Okay, so we're diving into Aubrey today, right? This case you brought to us, it really gets under your skin. It just makes you think about those kind of unsettling questions,
Yeah.
like the whole investigation and what went down in that town.
Oh, it definitely does. Haunting is a good word for it. Even just reading through everything again, it's like that chilling. And we've got more than just the story itself. We've got these glimpses behind the scenes, like how it all came together adds a whole other layer to it.
Right. It's like looking behind the curtain a little.
Yeah.
And there's this big question at the heart of it all. Can violence be inherited? I mean, that's what this whole narrative seems to be grappling with. That's heavy stuff.
Definitely heavy. It's that nature versus nurture debate, you know? But taken to a whole other level, this story really makes you consider those things that might shape us, things we don't even know about, the things we might be carrying without realizing it.
Okay, so let's break this down. We're in Aubrey, Missouri, and we meet Detective V.J. Morrow. She's talking to Lieutenant Brian Tillman. Seems pretty normal at first, but then, boom, she drops a bombshell, she's pregnant, and they're planning to meet up later at a motel. Already kind of suspicious, right?
Yeah, you get that feeling right away. Like, why the secrecy? Makes you wonder what else is going on behind closed doors in this town. It's not as simple as it seems.
Definitely not. And then things get really weird. BJ's on her way to the motel, and she has this hallucination. It's vivid, disturbing. A man dragging a body, burying it in a field at night. The image just sticks with you.
Yeah, and what's so crazy is it leads to something real. She finds skeletal remains exactly where she saw them in her vision. It's like that line between what's real and what's not.
Good clue.
It gets blurry, really unsettling.
Totally. And it gets even creepier. They find an FBI badge with the remains. So it's not just some local thing anymore. Now it's connected to some big federal investigation. It's like opening a door to something much bigger and maybe much more dangerous.
Exactly. And enter Mulder and Scully Wright. Drawn to the unknown as always. They're here to figure out who this skeleton is and how it connects to everything.
And they do. Dental records identify him as Special Agent Sam Chaney. But get this. Chaney disappeared 40 years ago, back in 1942, while he was investigating a series of serial killings. Talk about a blast from the past, right?
Right. And it gets even weirder. Chaney was kind of a legend. He was obsessed with solving those murders. So the fact that he disappeared while investigating them, well, it's like this cycle of violence that just keeps repeating. And then there's the signature, the word sister, carved onto each victim. Just sends chills down your spine.
Yeah, that detail is just so creepy. It really sticks with you. So Mulder and Scully start asking questions. They question BJ about finding the body. But her story is, well, it's not very convincing. Car trouble? A dog digging up the remains? Come on. Even I can see through that.
Definitely suspicious. I mean, is she hiding something? Or is she just freaked out by everything that's happening? And then there's Tillman stepping in, trying to shut down the questioning. It just makes that whole relationship between him and BJ seem even more shady.
Yeah, like what are they hiding? So next we're at the coroner's office. Scully's examining Chaney's remains. They're talking about the murders he was investigating. And then they find something. Markings on his rib cage. Faded, but they're there. Like something was carved there too.
Like a message etched into the bones. And then BJ shows up all anxious, wanting to know what they found. It's almost like she's drawn to this case, like she has some connection to it that she doesn't even understand.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Okay, so they're trying to figure out what's carved on those bones. They're using old crime scene photos from '42 and this high-tech software to compare the markings, but it doesn't line up with Sister. And while all this is happening, BJ's hit with another vision. This time it's Chaney being tortured by his killer. I can't even imagine.
It's just brutal. No wonder she's so shaken. And it raises those big questions again. Are these visions real glimpses into the past? Or is there something else going on with BJ? Something psychological, maybe. We see that moment in the bathroom between her and Scully, and you really feel for DJ.
Yeah, it's a human moment in all this darkness. And that's when we find out more about her nightmares.
Yeah.
About this house she keeps seeing. And she confirms that, yeah, she's pregnant and Tillman's the father. So it's all connected in a way.
It's like this web that keeps getting more and more tangled, and then boom, everything changes. BJ's looking at those markings again, and it hits her. They don't spell sister, they spell brother. Mind blown.
Right. That one word changes everything. Yep. Suddenly it's not just about those old murders, it's about Chamiti too. And then Tillman walks in, sees the files, thinks it's a current case, freaks out about the photos being unsealed, and then Mulder's like, dude, these are from 1942. It's like the past just slammed into the present.
You can just feel Tillman's world shift in that moment, and that's when he spills the beans. Tells him about a recent murder. Young woman, sister, carved on her body and on the wall. It's happening again.
And it gets worse. Another detective comes in. Another murder. Another woman. This one's named Johnson. It's like this cycle of violence is spinning out of control.
And BJ just goes quiet. Then she says, "That's the woman in my dreams."
Chilling, right?
It's like those visions are connected to the murder somehow. But how?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
So they start digging into those dreams. BJ describes the killer, the one she sees, and then she's looking through these old mugshots and she picks him out. Harry Coakley, the killer from the 40s. It's like a ghost from the past coming back to haunt them.
It's crazy, right? Like, how could she know? Scully tries to find a rational explanation. Maybe BJ saw Coakley's photo as a kid. Her dad was a cop, after all. Maybe it's just these repressed memories coming back as hallucinations, trying to make sense of it all.
It's a good theory, but something still feels off. So Mulder and Scully go to find Coakley. He's old now, wheelchair-bound, hooked up to an oxygen tank. He denies everything, of course, says he's paid his dues, but can you ever really escape the past?
Well, he looks pretty harmless, right? But then things escalate. BJ wakes up one night covered in blood, and there it is, the word sister carved into her own skin. It's like the past has literally reached out and touched her.
Seriously messed up.
Yeah.
And then another vision hits her, stronger this time, leads her to this random basement, and she finds another skeleton, Agent Ledbetter, Ginny's partner. He disappeared back in 42 too. It's like all these secrets are starting to unravel.
Yeah, those old disappearances, they're connected to Coakley somehow. It's pretty clear. They arrest him again, but he's still denying everything, especially about attacking BJ. Blames his age, his health, but something's not adding up.
And that's when Scully drops the truth bomb. The blood on the latest victim. It's a DNA match to Coakley. No way around it. So how's he committing these murders if he's supposed to be stuck at home? Mulder and Scully need answers. They go to find Linda Thibodeau. She was attacked by Coakley 40 years ago. They're hoping she can shed some light on what's going on.
This is where it gets really heavy. Mulder asks Thibodeau about the attack. Was she pregnant afterwards? And she just breaks down, confirms that she was, and that she gave the child up for adoption, called him a spawn of evil, and then she gives them the address of the adoption agency.
This is the turning point. Mulder and Scully, they put it all together. They realize Thibodeau and Coakley's child is BJ's father. Talk about a bombshell. And this is where Mulder comes up with his theory. He thinks BJ's committing these murders without even knowing it.
Ouch.
Like she's acting on these genetic memories she inherited from her grandfather. The idea that something like that is even possible, it's terrifying.
It really is. Like, we're not just shaped by our experiences, but by our ancestors, too. Their darkness becomes our darkness.
Exactly. And it all leads up to this. BJ breaks into Thibodeau's house. It's like she's being controlled by those inherited impulses. But then she stops. Thibodeau tells her the truth, that she's her granddaughter. And BJ sees the sister scars on Thibodeau's chest, the same one she has. And for a second, it's like she comes back to herself.
It's like a glimmer of hope. Maybe she's not completely lost.
Yeah.
But it's not over yet. Mulder and Scully realize BJ is going to go after Coakley. They rush to his house. They know what's coming.
And they're right. They get there, and BJ's attacking Coakley, tries to pull his oxygen line. Then she turns on Mulder, holds a razor to his throat. It's tense. But Mulder, he doesn't give up. He talks to BJ, appeals to the part of her that's still herself. And for a moment, she hesitates.
And just then, Coakley dies. Like, he couldn't hold on any longer. And at that exact moment, that hold Coakley had over BJ, it breaks. It's gone.
It's like his death released her. But it's a bittersweet victory. The episode ends with BJ in prison. She's on suicide watch after trying to end her pregnancy. And in that last shot, you see her holding her stomach fear in her eyes, like she's terrified of what her child might become. It's just sad.
Tragic. She's a victim in so many ways, a product of a past she couldn't escape.
And it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
About those big questions, nature versus nurture, free will, the darkness we inherit. So that's the story of Aubrey. But there's more. What about the behind-the-scenes stuff, those little details that add to the mystery? The nostalgia.
I love that stuff. It's like peeling back the layers and seeing how it all came together.
So first off, we have Terry O'Quinn. He plays Lieutenant Tillman. Now, for those of us who are die-hard X-Files fans, this is interesting. O'Quinn is one of the few actors who appeared in multiple parts of the franchise. He's in this episode. He's in the '98 movie. And he pops up again in season 9. It's got to mean something, right?
Definitely. It means he resonated with the creators. Like, they saw something in him that fit the world of the X-Files. And he must have loved being a part of it, too.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the core concept.
Yeah.
Genetic memory. It's what drives this whole story. The idea that memories, even behaviors, could be passed down through DNA. It's like this psychological thriller meets the supernatural.
Right. It makes you question everything. Like, who are we really? Are we just a sum of our genes, or do we have free will? It's a question that's been around forever, but this episode tackles it head on.
Okay, so here's a fun fact. Remember the Aubrey police headquarters? Those exterior shots? Well, those were actually filmed at the Department of Veterans Affairs police building in LA. Kind of cool, right?
I love those little details. It's like a little peek behind the curtain, and it grounds the story in a way. Like, even though we're dealing with these crazy concepts, it's still happening in the real world.
Exactly. Now, Aubrey first aired on January 6, 1995. Got a Nielsen rating of 10.2. That's like 9.7 million households watching. It was a big deal.
Yeah, back when everyone watched the same thing at the same time, you could feel the buzz around these episodes.
Right, and it's important to remember this. Aubrey is a Monster of the Week episode. It's not part of that bigger government conspiracy storyline, which is good because it lets it stand on its own. It can really explore these themes without being tied to anything else.
Those standalone episodes are often the most memorable for me. They're like these little gems, little pockets of weirdness and horror.
Totally agree. Now, while Sarah Charnow gets the writing credit for Aubrey, she wasn't alone. Glenn Morgan and James Wong helped develop the story too. And they're big names in the X-Files world.
Right, they'd written some classic episodes before, so having them on board probably helped shape the episode in a big way.
For sure. And it's interesting how it all came together. The initial idea was to combine these 50-year-old murders with the concept of genetic memory. And then they threw in the idea of a female serial killer. It's like they took these different pieces and blended them together.
It's fascinating how stories evolve, right? Like how those initial sparks of inspiration turn into something complex and unexpected.
Totally. And speaking of those behind-the-scenes connections, remember Terry O'Quinn? Well, he had a special relationship with Chris Carter's production company, 1013 Productions. They called him Mr. 1013 because he appeared in so many of their shows and movies.
Yeah, he was like their good luck charm.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a really talented actor they loved working with.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Now, Chris Carter himself loved how Aubrey turned out, said it came out great. And director Rob Bowman was especially proud of that scene where BJ wakes up covered in blood. So it was one of his favorite scenes.
Yeah, that scene is intense. Really well done. It's always cool to hear what the creators themselves think about the finished product.
Absolutely. And the praise didn't stop there. Carter raved about the casting, said Morgan Woodward was excellent, and Deborah Strang, who plays BJ, was top-notch. Strang was even submitted for an Emmy for her performance. That's saying something.
Yeah, that's a huge honor. Even though she didn't win, it shows how much they respected her work. She brought a lot of depth and intensity to the role.
She really did. Okay, so Aubrey got mostly positive reviews. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B, said it was well-paced and had a great ending. Robert Shearman, who's like an X-Files expert, he was also positive. Praised the character development and Strang's performance, but he wasn't a fan of the whole genetic defect thing. Felt like it took away from BJ's agency.
It's always interesting to see how different people interpret these stories. What works for one person might not work for another. That's the beauty of art. It's subjective.
So true. Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Aubrey. It's a story that stays with you. The haunting idea of inherited violence. The tragic figure of BJ Morrow.
Yeah, it makes you think about those big questions. What shapes us? Who are we really? And what do we inherit from the past?
And that leads us to our final thought. What about you? What do you think about genetic memory? Is it just a fictional concept, or is there something more to it? Does it challenge our ideas about free will and responsibility? Something to ponder.
It is. It's a chilling thought, but it's one worth exploring. Maybe we're more connected to the past than we realize.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Aubrey. We encourage you to revisit the source material and maybe watch the episode again with fresh eyes. Until next time.